Good afternoon, my fellow traders. My name is Michalis and I'm one of the market analysts here at HFM, and I'd like to welcome everybody to another live trading session where we're actually going to be looking at Bitcoin, because we've had inflation data for producers and for consumers. Inflation has risen for the fourth consecutive month, which is something that a lot of economists weren't expecting to see inflation increase consecutively that frequently, basically. So we haven't seen the traditional economic influence and domino effect on the financial trading markets in general. Now, Bitcoin is moving sideways. So of course, a lot of traders are really thinking, this sideways price movement, are we seeing technical analysis indicating that there's potential opportunities for upward price movement? Is this actually indicating a decline in the medium to longer term? What does it actually indicate in terms of technical analysis, and also in terms of fundamental analysis? Higher inflation for a fourth consecutive month. What does that mean for Bitcoin as well? Now, in regards to inflation, ladies and gentlemen, yes, of course, inflation has risen. Traditionally, that tends to indicate a lower risk appetite in the market because, generally speaking, it means less frequent Federal Reserve interest rate adjustments. For example, now a lot of individuals are expecting the Federal Reserve not to cut for the first 6 months of 2025. So of course that has its trigger effect and its domino effect throughout the rest of the market. But traditional economics is one thing. What I will say is, the stock market hasn't declined. The stock market has actually increased in value on Wednesday, on Thursday, and also today as well. And if we look at the rest of the market, if we look at, for example, bond yields have remained unchanged. If we look at risk indicators, for example, the VIX has declined by more than 14%. That indicates that the market's risk appetite is 100% stable. Another indication as well is if we look at the high-low index of even growth exposed indices, such as, for example, the DAX. Another example is the Nasdaq as well. Their high to low index is again also increasing in value over the past 2 days. So the markets remain stable regardless of the fact that inflation has risen for a fourth consecutive month. So even though traditional economics, that tends to indicate that there tends to be pressure on the risk market, that isn't what is being seen in the market. So we can't ignore the fact that the market isn't following that traditional route so far. So when we're looking at Bitcoin actually opened this week on a very, very strong bearish price gap. If we're looking at the price gap opened 5% lower, ladies and gentlemen, and it declined almost 11% lower on Monday morning. However, what I would definitely say is that the price very quickly corrected over the next 24 hours. And since then, ladies and gentlemen, sellers haven't been able in any way, shape or form to regain momentum. So momentum has been lost, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, for the first time in the past 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that, yes, throughout the week, we were seeing lower lows. Sometimes we did see higher highs, but we saw every single day a lower low. But for the first time today and yesterday, we actually saw a higher high. The RSI on an 18 period increased above the neutral. We're currently trading above 53, the 53 mark. We're very close to trading above the trend lines as well. And we very clearly have gained more than 65% momentum of the retracement. We're just above 65%. We're approximately at 67% of the momentum being regained. So in terms of downward price movement, we're losing that bias. So technical analysis in terms of indications to sell and speculate downward price movement is starting to become weaker. Now, we're not yet seeing super strong indications that Bitcoin is again going to increase to above 100,000, but nonetheless, there's a slight bias in terms of technical analysis to potential upward price movement. Now, if we're looking at upward price movement, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of technical analysis for Bitcoin against the US dollar, this is a 15-minute time frame. The 15-minute time frame, we're above the 200 bar average price movement. That's a very key indicator, ladies and gentlemen. So for example, if we look at the last two times it crossed above, here we can see it crossed above, increased by 1.40%. Here it crossed below, decreased by 1.60%. We're very clearly now trading above the 200 bar simple moving average, and we're honoring it as well. So even when we get in retracements, for example, here, here, and here, we still continue to honor that 200 bar simple moving average. Now, a key area, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to break above the breakout zone. Now, this is the breakout level, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the good thing about the current price movement is that we're seeing stable price movement increasing towards that breakout zone. Now, if we're able to maintain nice, strong momentum, but not see all of the momentum in one candlestick, because we see a very strong spike. So, for example, here we saw a very, very strong spike in just a single candlestick. There's a higher possibility that it will retrace thereafter. So at the moment, we're making our way up to that breakout zone. If we do cross above that breakout zone, then of course we have a potential indication that the price is going to increase in value. Now, if we go back to the 2-hour time frame, if we are going to get a bullish price movement, the next question is, the resistant level, where is it currently at? Because a lot of traders, they either will look at 75% of the resistant level or the resistant level itself. It depends on your methodology, your approach, and also your personal risk appetite. Now, we can see resistant levels at different points. Now, we can see lower resistant levels here, for example. We've got a very low level here also. We've also got higher levels. So we've got a level here, a level here, and a level here. Now, I've done the honors of working out already the average resistant level that we have seen throughout the week. And this red line is at the average resistant level. Now, if we are going to get an indication throughout the day at the breakout is here, ladies and gentlemen, all the way up to the potential target. We're looking at just over 2%. Now, again, like I said, a lot of traders, they may look at 75% of that. So if we are going to look at something like that, then we would actually look at a target of approximately around here. Again, it depends on if you're a short-term trader, your personal approach as well, and your trading methodology. However, like I always say, potentially there may be something else which is about to happen in the market which may rock the cryptocurrency market and potentially trigger a decline. Now, if we are going to see a decline being triggered, then what potential medium to longer term target can we potentially look at? And somewhere where we can potentially look at in terms of the medium to longer term is the resistant level being flipped onto the support level. Now, this is for the medium to longer term, so keep that in mind. For example, if we're going to get a decline of this level, then based on the current price movement, that's a decline, ladies and gentlemen, of 23.5%. Now, in order for us to see a decline of that magnitude, then of course we need to see something which is strongly negatively affecting the investor sentiment towards Bitcoin, and generally speaking, of course, the cryptocurrency market. Now, in the shorter term, though, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we need to take into consideration the shorter term. We, of course, have different targets that we can look at. So, for example, we have the main support level, which is here, which is very close to the support level here and here as well. We can also potentially look at the support level, which is furthest away, which is at the just under the 94,000 mark there. So, of course, we can take those into consideration. Where are we going to get key indications that the price is going to decline? The first requirement, ladies and gentlemen, is, of course, we need to drop below our 200 bar simple moving average. And what individuals may look to do is look at, again, the breakout zones. So we have a breakout here, and we also have a breakout here of the price waves. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've looked in today's trading session at technical analysis. We mentioned how inflation has had an untraditional effect on the market in general. We've looked at if we're going to potentially see indications of upward price movement for Bitcoin, where we may see those, where traders may take into consideration certain targets, and also the same if we start to get a more bearish bias. So hopefully you found today's session educational and informative. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we do have a new cryptocurrency trading account, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and has new elements, which is precisely for cryptocurrency. So conditions which is precisely more adjusted to cryptocurrency trading. So feel free to check that out. I will put a link in the captions below. In the meantime, though, trade safe, trade responsibly, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week on our next trading session. Goodbye.